Hey everybody, welcome to episode 24 of Cool Chords. Today we're going to be taking a look at a fascinating song by My Bloody Valentine titled Lose My Breath. Hope you enjoy. Alright, so this is a very unique progression, a lot of really bizarre chord voicings going on, and the way that the song works is it follows a general verse, chorus format, and what it does is the verse is the section that has these really dissonant, really tense chord voicings, and then when the chorus comes in, it's just such a nice resolution to this clear tonal center, so it has this great contrast between dissonance and resolution. So a couple of things we have to go over before we get into the actual progression. There's a lot of weird stuff going on tuning-wise, and we also have a capo on the second fret. So for me, whenever I put my guitars in a really bizarre tuning like this, it always makes it a little bit tricky to get it perfectly in tune with the tuning that I'm doing. So I'll play you the open strings of what they're supposed to sound like, but it's going to sound a little bit flat. But when I put the capo on, it seems to fix it. So the open strings are going to be E, and then E again, just tune it all the way down, and then B, and then E, B, E. So only two notes in the open strings. Right, like I said, it's a little bit out of tune, but once I put the capo on the second fret, it seems to fix it. So then we're going to take that tuning, we're going to put capo on 2, so now our open string should be still a little bit off, but when I actually play the chords, it seems relatively in tune. So the first voicing we're going to start out with, I'm calling this B flat minor add 9 flat 6, so I'll get into the theory of that in a second, but the voicing is going to be this. You put your pointer finger up on the 4th fret of the 6th string, then you're going to skip over a string and then put your middle finger also on the 4th fret of the D string, and then your pinky is going to go on the 6th fret of the G string, and then the B and E are open. So the chord voicing sounds like this. Okay, so without that top note, this is really not a bizarre voicing. If you just play those first 4 notes, right, that's just a regular B flat minor add 9, right? B flat, F, C, D flat. But then adding that G flat on top, that flatted 6, kind of an unusual note to include in a minor voicing, and having it on the top definitely creates this dissonance, this sound of it wants to resolve itself, right? It kind of has a very unresolved, doesn't really sound like a chord that you would hang on, but I think that's what makes this song so cool, is that he's taking these super dissonant voicings that you wouldn't normally use as like a foundation for a chord progression, and he's just hanging on them. So part of what makes Kevin Shields just such a genius. So we take this first chord and we strum it 8 times, 8 downstrokes. Now the second chord is really the weird one, even weirder than the first one. So now what we do is, after we strum that, we're going to keep our pinky where it is, but then we're going to take off our pointer and middle. We're going to put our middle finger on the 6th fret of the E string, and then we're going to skip over a string and then put our ring finger also on the 6th fret of the D string. So those are the 3 fretted notes we're doing. And then we still include the open B and open E. So now we have this. Alright, super dissonant chord, but I love it. So this one I really struggled to come up with a name for it, because there's no indication of like a very clear just like chord that I can work off of within these voicings. So the notes we have are C, G, and then C, D flat, G flat. So I could see the C and G in there, like a C power chord. And then on top of that, we have the D flat and the G flat. So I just called it C5 flat to sharp 11. So definitely reaching to try to come up with a name for this chord. I don't really think he was thinking in terms of chord names at all when he did this. I think he probably just got his guitar in this tuning, was messing with some fingerings, and came up with this sound. But if you have another idea as to what this chord could be called, I'm all ears for that. So the verse just alternates between these two chords. You strum each chord 8 times, and you go between those two chords 4 times. So it's... Okay, so now in terms of the theory, I really have no idea what is going on here. The first chord, I was able to kind of start to analyze it and look at how it lines up against the vocal melody, but that second chord really kind of throws everything off. So I would say that when we get to the chorus, it's clearly in the key of E flat minor, at least for the chorus, and I would say that this verse has 2 chords that somewhat resemble E flat minor, but then have these additional notes that make it outside of the key. So I would just say that the entire verse is basically this dissonant build-up to eventually get to the key of E flat minor. Like I said, I don't think he was thinking in theory terms when he wrote this. I could be wrong, but I don't know. There's so much bizarre stuff going on here. I'm willing to bet that it just kind of came from experimenting with different chord shapes and stuff like that. So once we get through that, then we get to the chorus, which is really beautiful. So this first chord we're going to have is a B flat minor, add 6, B flat minor, flat 6. So it's actually the same thing as the first voicing, except we just take our pinky off and we make this string open. So it's the same voicing, just minus the 9. We don't have the 9 in it now. So the fingering I like for that is I put my middle finger on 4 on the 6th string, skip over a string, then put my ring finger on 4 on the 4th string, and then I strum the remainder of the 3 strings open. So now right here, the strumming pattern that I'm doing for the chorus, he changes it up every time, but I took just one of the patterns that he did for a couple of the chords and I applied it to all of the voicings. So I'm going 6 downs, and then down, up. So, okay, so if we are in the key of E flat minor, this B flat minor chord, we would call that the 5 minor chord, right, Roman numeral wise. And then we go to this beautiful B flat 6-9 chord. And the way we do that is we bar our pointer finger on 5 on the 6th and 5th string, and then put your pinky on 7 on the D string, and then the remainder of the strings are open. A little bit out of tune. Yeah, these all, at least on my guitars, I don't know how it is with you guys, but it's really a pain getting the guitar to stay really in tune when I'm doing these wacky tunings. I just don't think my guitar is used to it. So then, when we get to this chord, we do the same pattern, the 6 downs and then the down, up. And then we actually do that twice. We hang on this chord an additional measure. All right, so now starting the chorus, we got... And now here's the resolution. Here's where we finally land on E flat minor. So just take the same first chord that we were doing and slide it up so now you're on your 9th fret. So middle finger on 9 on the E string, skip a string, put your ring on 9 on the 4th string, and then open 3rd, 2nd, and 1st string. And that's a beautiful E flat minor 7 voicing. Great. Just lines up really nicely in this tuning. So the 3 chords we have for the chorus we have. Do this again. Just a beautiful progression. So Roman numeral wise, we start on the 5 minor, 6 major, 6 major again, and then the 1 minor. Okay, so the entire chorus now is... Then we repeat it. right here, when we go to this E flat minor 7 chord the second time, we have a different ending. We have a second ending, and you do a quick bar of 2. You just do 4 downstrokes on the E flat minor 7. And then all we do is we take these 2 fingers on the 9th frets and slide them down 2. So now we're on 7, and we give that 8 strums for 2 measures. So. Right there, we call it D flat sus or sus4, whatever you prefer to call it. Right, so then he's going from E flat minor, which is our 1 chord, to the 7 chord, the flat 7 chord, D flat sus. And that connects back into the verse again. So then we're back to that dissonant, really tense chord progression in the verse. So the way that it weaves in and out of those 2 progressions is just so beautiful. And like I said, I think it just makes the chorus so satisfying when it comes in, because you have this dissonant, tense progression that keeps building, and then finally you get this nice resolution. So the entire progression will be this. So that is our progression for this week. I'm glad I did this one, because as soon as I heard it, it really caught my ears. And I was like, I have no idea what's going on in this song. I got to figure this out. And I saw a little bit of debate online as to what the tuning is. I'm pretty sure that it's E, E, B, E, B, E. And I think these voicings are pretty close to what he's playing. They might not be exactly it, but I wasn't able to find any lessons on how to play this song. So I just did a little investigating. I tried to figure it out as best as I could. But if you think anything is slightly different, I would love to hear your thoughts. But that's it. That is our lesson for this week. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you learned something. And if you would like to donate and support the channel, you can do so at patreon.com/MikeGaudetteMusic or paypal.me/MikeGaudetteMusic. And that is our episode for this week. Thanks a lot for watching, and I will see you at the next episode. Take care.